Welcome back to the Pension and Insurance in Israel podcast with Bosmap.
It's great to be here.
This podcast is for those who've recently made Aliyah and are new to Israel.
Okay.
Here to help you understand the world of pensions and insurance.
All right.
Today we're diving deep into critical illness insurance.
Okay.
Something that's especially important for families
Right.
and anyone who wants to be prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah, it's like that saying,
Yeah,
hope for the best,
right.
prepare for the less than best.
Exactly.
And when it comes to serious illnesses, being prepared can make a world of difference.
Absolutely. It's not something we like to think about,
Right.
but over 75,000 people have heart attacks in Israel every year.
Wow.
That really hit me.
Yeah.
It shows how crucial it is to have a safety net.
It's a wake-up call for sure. And while Israel's healthcare system is amazing for covering those basic medical bills,
Yeah.
it doesn't always cover everything.
Right.
Think about it. If someone gets really sick, they might lose income,
Okay.
need special treatments,
Oh,
or maybe even need help with childcare.
right.
That's where critical illness insurance steps in.
Okay, so it's like having a financial backup plan,
Mm-hmm.
specifically for those tougher health situations.
Exactly. It's like building a financial fortress.
Oh.
Your regular health insurance is the strong wall, but critical illness insurance is that lookout tower,
I like that.
giving you an extra layer of protection when you need it most.
I like that analogy. So if someone is diagnosed with a covered illness,
Right.
this insurance gives them a one-time payment to help with those extra costs.
Right. It's called a lump sum payment,
Okay.
and it can range from 50,000 shekels
Wow.
all the way up to 700,000 shekels,
Okay.
depending on your policy.
Gotcha.
And those illnesses covered.
Yeah.
Think of the big health threats in Israel.
Okay.
Cancer,
Mm-hmm.
with its rising rates,
Right.
heart attacks. Those are always a concern.
Uh-huh.
That's where this insurance steps in. Yeah.
Some policies even cover specific children's illnesses, which can be a huge relief for young families.
So it's not just for the person who gets sick. It can protect the whole family.
Absolutely. Let's say a child gets seriously ill.
Okay.
The parent might have to cut back on work to care for them.
Right.
They can't claim disability because they aren't sick,
Right?
but their income takes a hit.
Yeah.
That's a real-life scenario
Yeah.
where critical illness insurance can be a lifeline.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
It really highlights how this insurance can fill those gaps that regular health insurance might miss.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm curious,
Yeah.
what if someone has a family history of a specific illness, like cancer?
Mm-hmm.
Can they get a policy just for that?
You're thinking ahead,
Hopefully.
and that's great.
Yeah.
Some companies do offer policies tailored to specific illnesses,
Okay.
like cancer.
Uh-huh.
It can be a good option if you have a higher risk for a certain illness.
Right. It might even be more affordable than a comprehensive policy,
Okay.
and some of them offer partial payouts for early detection,
Oh,
which you might not get with a more general policy.
that's really insightful.
Yeah.
So for our listeners who are new to Israel
Yeah.
and trying to figure all of this out,
Mm-hmm.
how can they check if they already have this type of coverage?
First, grab your insurance documents
Okay.
and look for a section that says serious illnesses
Okay.
or something similar. If you find it, dive into the details.
Sorry.
What illnesses are covered, how much coverage you have,
Okay.
any discounts you're getting,
Yeah.
and all these important terms and conditions.
What if they're thinking about getting a policy?
Okay.
What are the key things they should keep in mind?
Here's the thing. Don't wait.
Okay.
The younger and healthier you are,
Mm-hmm.
the better the rates you'll get.
Right.
And as you get older, it gets more expensive.
Yeah.
And pre-existing conditions can make it harder to get coverage. Aim for coverage that's roughly equal to at least 12 months of your salary.
Okay.
Think of it as a safety net for your income.
That makes sense. So it's not just about getting any policy. It's about finding the right one that fits your needs and budget.
Right?
You got it.
Yeah.
It's like shopping at the Shuck.
Okay.
You don't just grab the first thing you see.
Right.
You compare prices, look for quality,
Yeah.
and make sure it's something you can actually afford long term.
Right.
And speaking of affordability,
Yeah.
don't be fooled by those flashy initial discounts.
Here's where it gets interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about those discounts.
You know how some places offer those huge discounts up front?
Yeah.
But then the price jumps up later?
Right.
It's the same with insurance. You want a policy that gives you consistent, reliable discounts over the long haul.
Okay.
Not just a big one at the beginning.
So sustained discounts are the way to go.
Absolutely. It's about thinking long term.
Okay.
You want that peace of mind.
Knowing your coverage is stable
Right.
and won't suddenly become unaffordable.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to shop around
Right.
when your existing discounts expire,
Mhm.
as long as your health hasn't changed in a way that would affect your eligibility.
This is all super helpful.
Good.
Sounds like there's a lot to consider when choosing a policy.
Yeah.
Are there any other pitfalls listeners should be aware of, things that might not be obvious at first glance?
Great question.
Yeah?
You have to remember, not all insurance companies are created equal.
Right.
They don't all offer the same coverage or the same list of illnesses.
Okay.
And here's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Some companies group illnesses together.
Okay.
So let's say you have two separate claims within the same illness group.
Hmm.
Some policies might only pay out once for that group, even though you had two distinct health issues.
Okay. That's something I definitely wouldn't have thought of on my own.
Yeah,
So reading the fine print is crucial.
absolutely. Don't be shy about asking questions. You want to understand exactly what you're getting and how those illness groupings work.
Okay.
It's your health and your financial security on the line.
Right.
So it's worth taking the time to get it right.
For sure.
It's like buying an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't just sign the contract
Right.
without reading it carefully, right?
That's a great point. So we've talked about the what and the how,
Right.
what critical illness insurance is, how it works, things to look for.
Yeah.
But for our listeners who are new to Israel,
Okay.
maybe just starting families or thinking about their long-term financial security,
Yeah.
what would you say is the biggest takeaway here? Why should they care about this?
Peace of mind.
Okay.
That's the heart of it.
Okay.
It's about knowing that if something unexpected happens,
Mm-hmm.
you have a financial cushion to fall back on.
Right.
It lets you focus on what matters.
Okay.
Getting better,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of your family, without that added weight of financial stress.
That's so important when you're dealing with a health crisis.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is to worry about money.
Right.
It's about having that security, that sense of control in a situation that can feel very out of control.
Exactly. And it's not just about reacting to a crisis.
Okay.
It's about being proactive, about taking charge of your financial well-being. It's
Really?
like that old saying,
Yeah.
the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Okay.
The second best time is now.
I love that it's never too late to start thinking about these things.
Right.
But I'm sure some people are listening and thinking,
Yeah.
okay, this all sounds good, but is this something everyone needs?
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Okay.
It really depends on your individual circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
For families, especially those with young kids,
Okay.
it can be a real game changer.
Right.
Same goes for anyone with big financial responsibilities.
Oh.
Mortgages, loans, things like that.
So it's about assessing your own situation, your own needs and priorities,
Exactly.
and seeing if this fits into your overall financial plan.
It's like putting together a puzzle.
Oh,
You need all the pieces to see the full picture.
right.
And sometimes getting advice from a professional can be super helpful.
Okay.
They can look at your specific situation
Mm-hmm.
and give you personalized recommendations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's worth talking to an expert who can guide you through those complexities
Yeah.
and help you make the best decision for your needs.
Think of it like going to a doctor.
Okay.
You wouldn't diagnose yourself, right?
Right.
You'd seek out a professional opinion.
Yeah.
It's the same with financial planning.
That's a great way to put it. And speaking of experts, this has been an incredibly informative deep dive
Yeah,
into critical illness insurance in Israel.
absolutely.
I know our listeners will find this information valuable
Yeah.
as they navigate the world of insurance here.
Mm-hmm.
But before we wrap up,
Right.
any last words of wisdom for our listeners as they think about critical illness insurance?
Yeah.
What do you want them to remember?
Don't wait for a crisis to hit before you realize you need this.
Okay.
It's much easier and often more affordable
Mm-hmm.
to get coverage when you're healthy.
Okay.
Think of it as an investment in your future
Mm-hmm.
and your family's well-being.
Powerful advice.
Yeah.
It's about being proactive,
Mm-hmm.
taking control,
Mm-hmm.